Let's see the acapella.
Alright.
Let's let them know what time it is.
The Weeknd.
Weeknd, baby. Weeknd.
You don't know.
What does The Weeknd have in common with Angelina Jolie? Well, apart from their fame, I wouldn't really think much at all. Which is why I think a lot of people were scratching their collective heads when the news of Canada's very own pop/R&B artist became close with the movie star and even considers her his muse. While they both deny romantic connection, the two have been inseparable recently, and fans are looking to his very recently released album, Dawn FM, to references about the Mr. and Mrs. Smith actress. The album became a pivot from his typical style of dreamy pop with 80s characteristics to a more refined story-heavy composition. It's the second installment in a trilogy portraying The Weeknd as a quasi-antihero who routinely uses women for their bodies and fully embraces the darker aspects of a reckless lifestyle. Today we're covering The Weeknd. Tomorrow though, you decide. Let us know in the comments down below who you think we should talk about on the next episode of Where Are They Now? And please don't forget to like this video for more content just like it. Abel Tesfaye was born in Toronto, Ontario before he lived with his mother and grandmother in Scarborough after his parents divorced. His father would become absent in his life, with Abel only really remembering seeing him once or twice after his parents' divorce. He said of his father, quote, "I saw him vaguely when I was 6, then again when I was 11 or 12, and he had a new family and kids. I don't even know where he lived. I'd see him for like a night. I'm sure he's a great guy. I never judged him. He," and I'm paraphrasing here because I can't say these words, "didn't hurt me. He just wasn't there." As a child, he attended services at the Ethiopian Orthodox Church while learning how to speak Amharic, the native Ethiopian language. Despite growing up with a supportive mother and grandmother, Abel describes his teenage years as filled with illegal substances that he routinely used. He also turned to crime to supplement his usage. While he attended high school, he wasn't serious about it, and he eventually dropped out to move to Parkdale, a neighborhood in Toronto. Abel began his music career with a humble start, posting anonymously to YouTube. He and a friend collaborated on a few tracks that he uploaded to his channel that drew some attention online. Drake even spoke about the tracks in a blog post that led to Pitchfork and the New York Times covering them as well. While his music was making the rounds, to supplement his income, Abel worked at American Apparel. Because he released music anonymously, he recalls moments where he would be folding clothes and his coworkers would excitedly talk to him about his music, not even knowing that he was the artist who had created the tracks. Eventually, Abel would adopt the stage name of The Weeknd. It was chosen in homage to the moment when he and his friend dropped out of high school, took his mattress, and, quote, left one weekend and never came home. The reason why he dropped the E from his name was much less exciting, and mostly to avoid trademark problems with the Canadian pop rock band The Weeknd. In fact, while The Weeknd was blowing up, his anonymity helped create the allure around his image. No one quite knew who he was, his tracks never had his face on it, and he refused to do interviews. He admitted to the Rolling Stone in 2018, however, that his anonymity wasn't really intentional. In fact, it was largely due to his deprecating views about himself. He was too self-conscious about his body image to put his face out there, and he worried that he wasn't articulate enough to do interviews, being a high school dropout. By 2011, the artist had dropped a few mixtapes to critical acclaim and started doing shows in Toronto. While at the Mod Club Theatre, he met Drake. Drake helped lift The Weeknd to a higher level of artistry when he began opening for the musician and also began collaborating with him on Drake's second studio album, Take Care. By 2013, he was a bona fide celebrity. By 2015, he was dating supermodel Bella Hadid after he asked her to feature on the artwork for his album Beauty Behind the Madness. The two were on and off, with Abel dating Selena Gomez in an off period before him and the supermodel rekindled their romance again in 2018. They then officially split in 2019 and haven't been together since. While I'm sure his dating history is exciting, what I find actually fascinating is how it's blended into his music. Abel loves to build personas around his albums. While a lot of his earlier work from his late teens and early 20s can be viewed as misogynistic and objectifying to women, which it is also a testament to how much he's grown as a person. His first album, EXO, was largely an embracing of this new lifestyle of fame that he had been thrust into. The persona is a dark one and revels in the debauchery of a party-centric lifestyle and everything it entails. It craves violence, welcomes substance abuse, and largely treats women as objects to be won and as a reflection of his own fame. On the surface, this wouldn't be very groundbreaking. I mean, I can name 10 radio songs right now about how fun substances are, but what makes Abel interesting is this moral conflict he's created. He knows that what he's doing is wrong, but he can't seem to override his immediate urge to continue tearing his own life apart. He wants love, but his shallow need for intimacy caters only to his lust. He knows he's self-destructive, but he also feels powerless against his own decisions. Then in 2016, Starboy was released, and Abel quite literally killed his EXO persona. In the music video for the song of the same name, he breaks into EXO's home, kills him, and then destroys all of his Grammys and memorabilia. Now, instead of the shy and doubtful Abel we had previously seen, he's gone full villain. He's confident, cocky, and willing to tear down anyone that gets in his way to the top. He's unapologetic about his ruthlessness and doesn't spend any time deliberating about the morality of his own decisions. Next up is the new character he's created for his After Hours album. This one is a direct result of Starboy. He's established in the scene, older, and irreversibly damaged by his lifestyle. He's got no real friends, he's selfish, and he's a total wreck. In the short film he made with the same name as the album, he talks about the regret he feels about his former relationships. He's bloody and bruised on the Jimmy Fallon show, and he's angry. After Hours is a soulless persona, more akin to a hollow shell of his former self that's been completely destroyed by his own reckless decisions. I mean, just go watch the Blinding Lights music video. It's actually pretty scary and is a stark contrast to the upbeat 80s synth pop composition of the song itself. And now we've come up to the present with Dawn FM. When still teasing the album, he explained, quote, "If the last record is the after hours of the night, then the dawn is coming." The man is a genius storyteller, and the album itself is a clear pivot from his former musical style. He still has a trademarked 80s inspired synth, but now it also feels like there's a bit of dream pop vaporwave influence. As it stands now, no music videos have been released yet for the album, which I think will give further insight into this new era for his character. But going based off of the lyrics and album artwork, I think it's safe to say that this version of The Weeknd is old, having aged out of his danger-craving youth, and he's finally realized that he's got nothing left. With song titles like How Do I Make You Love Me, Here We Go Again, and Every Angel Is Terrifying, the track portrays his character as one filled with regret. He's been used up by fame, and now there's no one to usher him into the final stages of his life. While typically the dawn is a time of day that symbolizes new beginnings and youth, Abel seems to have taken that trope and entirely reversed it. His character is aging, he's close to death, and all of the decisions that he's made are finally showing their consequences. He's held back by his past, and now he fears an isolated death with no one who truly loves him for who he is. Pitchfork quoted the artist as saying, quote, "The album plays like listening to a kind of adult contemporary radio station as you sit in a traffic jam in the tunnel. Only the tunnel is purgatory and the light at the end of the tunnel is death." As dismal as that sounds, we need to keep in mind that The Weeknd has made it very clear that this is the second installment in a trilogy. What the third album is going to be is anybody's guess. How he decides to put to rest the life of an artist filled with regret will be extremely interesting, and one that may mark a completely new era for Abel. On top of his musical genius, The Weeknd has made an unlikely friend out of Angelina Jolie. After first appearing together in July 2021, the artist has named Jolie as, quote, "the ultimate muse," and he directly sings about her in his track Here We Go Again. While the song is about falling in love with a music star and fearing falling in love, he did state that he and Jolie aren't romantic. A connection close to them stated, quote, "Angelina and The Weeknd have had a few meetups, but there is nothing romantic going on between them. At least that's what friends are told." Apparently, they initially got into contact because Jolie's kids are a big fan of the singer, and while his friends remain adamant that the two are purely platonic, I wouldn't be surprised if that changes soon, especially given how intimate the track about her seems. So, do you think The Weeknd and Angelina Jolie are secretly together? And what do you think is coming next for The Weeknd's anti-hero persona now that his newest album has been released? Let us know in the comments down below. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more videos just like it. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Where Are They Now? I've been your host, Sierra. See you next time.